Hey there, I'm Jack of Saltwater Jack's Fishing. Thanks for clicking on the video. Let me share with you some of the options that you get with the NUCANOE Unlimited Kayak. This is what you get if you buy it brand new from a dealer. You get a seat and you get a kayak, and that's it. So you'll need to add a paddle and you'll need to add a life preserver to get on the water. This is what you get if you add another seat. You get to take family members out with you. This is what you get when you add some rod holders for fishing. This is what you get when you get tired of paddling. You add a trolling motor. In this particular kayak, you can add it on the bow or the stern, your choice. This is what you get when you add a gear pod and a waterproof box for all your camera gear. This is what you get when you want to go solo fishing. You got a shallow anchor, you get now tons of deck space, and you're ready to fish. All right, so let's go over some of the specs and features of this particular kayak, okay? This kayak is 12 feet 6 inches long, okay? It's 41 inches wide, right? It is 84 pounds with nothing in it, okay? As far as the weight capacity on this particular kayak is 400 pounds with the scupper holes unplugged, and if you plug the scupper holes, then it's 650 pounds, okay? So you should be able to get two medium-sized adults in the kayak and with your gear and not have any problems whatsoever, okay? Let's talk about some of the built-in features of this particular kayak, some things that are super important you may be interested in. So one of the first things is all the tracking here, okay? So there's 22 feet of tracking, and it's all the way up. You can see right here on the side and the floor. So that's gonna give you a ton of versatility as far as where to put rod holders, right? If you got fish finders, if you've got, actually right here, I've got the paddle holder right here. So it's going to give you a ton of versatility if you're adding another cup holder, that sort of thing, okay? So another built-in feature, you can see right here, I've got it's a casking, but it's a 3600 size casking. So there's a built-in holder there. There's also one right here, okay? And so that allows you to have your tackle right there at your hand. You don't have to keep turning around getting in your tackle bag. And so you have everything you need right there at your fingertips, okay? Right here, you've got a built-in cup holder, okay? Also on this other side, another built-in cup holder, okay? More tracking right here, right? Let's talk about the drainage system on this particular kayak. It's called the tarpon drainage system, and let me show you why, okay? So as you can see right here, it kind of looks like tarpon scales, doesn't it, right? And so what we found when we were looking at kayaks, we actually went to look at the Frontier, which is the model before this. And the Frontier didn't have as many scupper holes, right? And so the deck was kind of, in our opinion, it was kind of squishy, okay? This deck right here is firm. I mean, it's solid. It'll hurt your feet sometimes. But that is a really nice drainage system, okay? Another thing that we loved about this particular kayak, the seat turns 360 degrees, people, okay? Which, again, when you're out there all day, it's nice to be able to turn your seat, put your feet on the side, you can turn all the way around and get something out of the back. It's much easier if you gotta do that, okay? For me, another thing that I really love is the seat, the height of it off this deck. It allows me to get up and down without having to use a rope to pull myself up and down out of the kayak, okay? So that's something that's super important. In this kayak, they have two rod holders built in. What you'll find with these rod holders, they're okay. I mean, you can put some rods in there, but they are a good ways back in the back. And so if you're fishing solo and you've got your seat a little more forward, that may be a little more difficult to reach. So that's one of the reasons I've got some of these rod holders that I've got some extra ones that I can put back here, and I have my rods where I can grab them pretty easily. Access. So right here, this is the access panel. So it allows you to easily run wires through the kayak. So if you've got a trolling motor, which the gentleman that had this boat before me had his trolling motor up front. So he can just run his wires into this gear pod, which I'm gonna go over in just a minute. You can see where he had an access point right here. So his batteries are here, trolling motor here. One of the things that I originally was going to do is I was going to put my battery up front just to kind of balance the weight out, which I'm still thinking about doing. I have the wires to do it. And so I already installed right here, because they have these little cutouts right here, I've already installed where I can change the wiring, and I can, you know, plug my trolling motor in right here, take this battery, because it will fit inside this gear pod, okay? And so that allows me to keep the battery kind of, you know, concealed. It's not, you know, back there taking up space. It's in this box. So let's talk about the gear pod, because this is something that a lot of folks will actually purchase as an extra. It's about $200 for this particular gear pod, and it came with the kayak when I purchased it, okay? But as you can see, boom, it opens up. You got a ton of space in there, right? And so a lot of people, again, they will put their batteries and electronics in here, okay? And you know, it's got a nice seal on it right here, but it's not waterproof. It's not gonna be waterproof. So don't expect to, if you flip, that everything's gonna stay dry, because it's not, okay? So let's continue on. So right here, you've got where you can put your rod tips, okay? I've never done that. I lay my rods right here. I lay them along the gunnel, but I never put them inside those holders. I don't know why, I just don't, okay? Some other things, it's got built-in paddle holder right here. The reason that I bought the aftermarket paddle holders, where they're off the boat, is that when I'm fishing where I fish it, I don't want to make a lot of noise. So actually, if you want to, check out this video. I think it's either here or here. Look up. And there's an unboxing of the kayak paddle holder, as well as the unboxing of these rod holders right here, okay? Something I didn't mention to you, that this kayak is made in the US of A, okay? Says so right there. Made in the USA, as well as, oh, not gonna be able to see it. It's underneath the gear pod right here. But you can mark my words, it's made in the USA, and free parts for life. So if you're over here and you, I don't know, this paddle holder right here breaks, they'll send you another one. So that's pretty good that the company's standing behind their product. So, okay, a couple other things. You see these black panels right here? There's another one over here. So that's going to allow you to take, and you can, for instance, running lights, if you had lights here on your or on your boat, you can switch them on and off. If you wanted to have something where you could turn your trolling motor on and off, or if you're doing getting power and doing electronics or have extra lights, you can do all that right here in these little panels. So that's a nice feature. They've tried to think, I think, of just about everything. So let's talk about like kind of final thoughts, right? So the whole reason I got this kayak was so that I could fish. There's an area where, because I mainly fish out of boats, there's an area where there's a huge flat, okay? And the redfish were mocking me, and so I needed something that could go in 3 to 6 inches of water, and so that's why I got this kayak. I did months and months of research, watched a lot of video reviews of this particular kayak and other kayaks, and we tried a kayak down in Florida, a Hobie, and it was a fishing kayak tandem. It was a nice kayak, but not something that I could stand up in, okay? This kayak is extremely stable because it's 41 inches wide, something I felt comfortable with my wife and myself being out there and not having to worry about it tipping over, okay? I've, paddling this one, before I got the trolling motor, I was paddling it, and it tracks pretty well. It's not overwhelming to paddle it. I wouldn't recommend it doing it on a windy day because, it is a heavy kayak, okay? If you're going to go solo, remember it's 84 pounds with nothing in it. So you want to make sure that you either have a kayak cart or someone helping you. Well, if you're solo, you're by yourself, but you need a kayak cart. If you got 2 people, it's no big deal. It's easy, okay? But I will tell you that this kayak, we've really enjoyed it. My wife and myself, I'm 5'7", she's 5'3". We're not tall people, but we feel comfortable with 2 people in this kayak, okay? You may want to, when you go to look at potentially buying this kayak or another kayak, is buy it used, because you'll find a lot of kayakers like myself even, when they get a kayak, it's a new toy and they start buying accessories. And so what ends up happening is that they've got a ton of accessories, and then you don't have to buy it, and you're getting a price of a used product, right, versus having to buy a brand new. And like I said, right now, currently, to get the NUCANOE Unlimited, it's $18.99, and you get a seat and you get a kayak, and that's it, okay? And you know, the paddles add up. And speaking of paddles, this particular kayak, since it's 41 inches wide, you will need to get something that is 260 to 280 centimeters wide so that you're not banging the side of the kayak as you're paddling, okay? You'll find that it's important to get one that's pretty light, because if you're going to be paddling, again, it's a little heavier kayak, so you are going to work a little harder. Make sure you get the right size paddle. I had a smaller one, worked fine, but again, I kept banging the side of the kayak when I was paddling. For fishing, that's not the best thing. So anyways, if you have any questions, comments, please do it down below. Hopefully you found you know, some value out of this video. I appreciate you clicking on it. Saltwater Jack out. Peace.